Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Monday. It is Monday, January 10th, 2021. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. I hope everyone's having a good Monday. And Frankie, you are number one. And Shannon, welcome. You are number two. Okay, I am going to get started. So, today I want to talk about a life for a life. Do you believe in the death penalty? Should death row inmates be forced to donate organs? Or, I don't want to say forced, but I guess if I say required, it may be the same thing. And is the death penalty a deterrent? So, lots of things going on in the news today, and you know, um, I just want to know: do you believe in a life for a life? Do you believe that if you take a life, um, your life should be taken away? Um, you hear some stories about people who committed a murder, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they've been free, and then they're finally caught. And then their family is like, oh, please, he's an old man or she's an old woman, please don't send them to jail. But they've been free for the last 30 or 40 years while the person that they killed has been dead for the last 30 or 40 years. So what do you think? Or does it matter what the crime was? When I say that, does it matter how the person was murdered or killed? Depends upon if you get the death penalty. And then at the same time, if you are, sentenced to death, should you hang around for another 20 years? I mean, here in California, if you're sentenced to death, you may as well die of old age because, you have the appeals and they do this, they do that. So that's my question for today. And I am going to open it up. And Shannon, I'm going to invite you. And Frankie, you come on if you want. So if you want to come on and start the conversation, Shannon, you have the mic.
Hello, Salad.
Hello.
Do I believe in the death penalty? Yes, absolutely, I do. I do believe there's different types of murder. Of course, you have manslaughter, which is accidental. I do not think that requires death penalty. But absolutely, someone who takes capital murder, such as policemen, firemen, or even premeditated murder. Yeah, definitely. I think it should be a life for life.
Okay, so when you say it's an accident, what do you consider an accident? Like if you were driving on the freeway and you slipped on some ice, is that considered? I mean, what do you consider?
I'll give you an example, like Crazy Lady's son. Crazy Lady's son was it's still considered murder, but it was an accident. It was two semi trucks that hit each other and resulted in his death. And I do not believe he deserved the death penalty whatsoever. He didn't even get any jail time. I do think he wasn't drunk or anything. It was a pure accident because of his car stalled, and then he kind of hit him right on the side. And there was no alcohol involved or anything like that. I do think he should have got maybe a little bit of time, but he got house arrest for 1 year, and he pleaded guilty. And in a situation like that, definitely not.
Okay, so what about this? I'm not exactly sure of the facts, so if you're aware of this case, you'll have to help me out. The guy that I don't think he's from here. I don't know if he was an illegal or he was a truck driver, and he was just sentenced to like 100 or something years because I think his brakes went out or something. But then another court came back and said no, that sentence was too stiff, and they ended up giving him 10 years. Do you know which case I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I heard about it. Yes. I
You know,
think
so when you have something like that, if you're driving a truck, or you're driving a rental car, and you're just going about your way, you're driving down the freeway, whatever, and your brakes go out, and it results in someone's death. Is it your fault, or is it the fault of the company who should have made sure that those brakes were working?
I think that that's definitely the company who made the car. Absolutely, unless it was neglect on the owner of the car as far a fault such as brake fluid or something like that. You know, that
Okay.
you're going to be a responsible um, vehicle owner. You need to make sure all your working parts are working. You need to have oil. You need to make sure everything is working properly. So
Okay.
it all matters if it was the defective brakes or if it was the lack of, say, brake fluid.
Okay. Now, Juju says, and let me give a formal welcome to Juju and to Mortimer. Juju says that yes, the governor reduced his time. Yeah, I thought so. I thought they thought it was too excessive. So I at first did not believe believe in the death penalty until probably about the mid 90s, where I can't remember the little girl's name, which I probably should, but she was killed here in California by a pedophile. And the way she was killed, that made me say yes, the death penalty is necessary. Now, my next question is, well, welcome, man. You got here on time. Welcome. So my next question is okay. So if you believe in the death penalty, do you think that you should die the same way that you killed the person? In some places in the world, well, thank you, mate, man. Some places in the world, if you steal something, they chop off your hand. Some places, if you commit rape, you don't have that anymore. So if you kill someone by gunfire, should you die by gunfire? If you stab someone, should you die by stabbing? You know, um, should you die the way you killed someone?
Well, that's kind of an irrelevant question, actually, because there's only so many legal ways that a state can kill you.
Well, why does it have to be legal though? I mean, what? I mean,
Okay. Revenge?
Well, you make a good point in terms of how legal it is, but at the same time, it was illegal for you to take a sledgehammer and bash me over the head. So
right.
So why can't you die the same way that you killed me?
Well, for one, two wrongs don't make a right, and that's why you need to leave that up to the law, because I guess it depends upon the situation. Because to tell you the truth, and I'm not going to go elaborate into what happened to me, but I think the woman who did this to me should suffer exactly the same way she did to me. So, and that's crimes against humanity, which is actually punishable by death. It's actually worse than murder. Because actually murder is not crimes against humanity. Did you know that? But torture is.
Yes.
But certain people, okay, so if someone did that, smash someone in the head with a sledgehammer, but what would happen to that person who put that punishment upon them? So that's why you have to have designated people who do the punishing, who don't get in trouble for it. Yeah, it would be real nice to get revenge on someone who killed one of your loved ones and get away with it. or, but that's just not the world we live in.
Okay, you bring up a good point, and I'm going to take it over to Made Man and let him put his input in. But first, I want to read what Juju says. What I was talking about, this truck driver, trucker Rogel Aguilera Madero sentence reduced from 110 years to 10 years after public outcry. Colorado Governor Jared Polis has commuted the sentence of truck driver. Okay, 10 years to 10 years and 5 years he will be out. Yes, I mean, I thought his was excessive because that was an accident. Okay, Made Man, welcome. We are talking about a life for a life. What do you think? Do you want to add anything? Yes, no?
Yeah, I agree to some extent. But as you stated, some parts of the world or some religion, the family member of that deceased person, either the mother or the father, would have pardoned the person or would be the one to carry out the act or whatever. Because in certain religion, the the family of the deceased person can pardon the murderer or the person who killed their relative or their son. So yeah, I think it should be an eye for an eye situation. But as Shannon said before, who will be the person to carry out the act? So that's just where it kind of get crazy. Because
Oh,
what if the
okay,
mother?
okay, Mate Man. But let me ask this to you then. Shannon says who would carry out the act, but you have the people who are, doing the what do you call it? The lethal, shots or whatever. You have people who, if you're dying by firing squad, you have someone who's shooting the gun. If you're dying by electric chair, you have someone who is pulling the switch. So, my question is, should the family member, if they want, be allowed to kill the person the way you killed my family member? And I'm going to Mate Man. I'm asking you.
All right, so it's gonna be weird because it's not gonna be like an eye for an eye situation, depending on how the person died. As Shannon said, it can be considered of crime against humanity. So if someone bashes my head in, and that's a sight for somebody to constantly for someone to see and someone to do, or for one of my family members to literally do. eh, might not have that person having the heart to
Do you think
literally
that would
carry
be
out
a deterrent?
that.
That's
As I said, it, if the family member of the deceased willing to pardon that person or find alternative methods to depending on the crime or the type of murder that was committed against their family, then that would be something for them to look into and find different alternatives.
okay. Okay. Shannon? I mean, do you think that it would be a deterrent if people who murdered people, do you, and I don't mean an accident, if you killed someone and intentionally killed them, do you think it would be a deterrent if they knew that you were going to die the same way that you killed this person, and you're not going to sit on death row for 10, 20 years? You are going to die like within, within 6 months or whatever. And you're going to die the same way that you killed that person. Do you think it would be a deterrent?
You mean, would it stop them from killing that person in the first place?
Yes, with murders, stop. When we see a drastic, decrease in murders, if and the Mate Man says 6 months is too long. I mean, do you think we would see a decrease in murders because I know that if I stab you, when I die, I go to death row, I'm going to be stabbed. And Mateman says it should be right after sentencing. And in some cases, in some places that they do that, you're found guilty, and they take you right to be hung or whatever. So, Shannon.
Well, I thought you were saying, oh, you mean like once in prison, they should be. I mean, because you can't run over anybody in a car in prison.
No,
So,
I'm saying that if I was going to plan to kill someone,
right.
and would it make me think twice before I killed that person, because I knew that if I got caught, the way I killed this person is the way I'm going to die.
Well, there's a lot of people who get away with murder, and that really sucks. But and people still think that they can get away with murder, and it really pisses me off. But a lot of people who actually know how to murder know how to get rid of a body. No body, no crime. So only because I've witnessed a murder and nobody ever came looking for that body, and I still don't understand it. It
But you're
happened
not
like
answering.
30.
But you're not answering my
I don't.
question.
Yeah, but I kind of don't. You're saying that they would know that they were going to die. How you? But you would still have to be proven in a court of law.
Okay. What I mean is, if there was a law, okay, let's say that the U.S. passed a law that said, if you murder someone and you are found guilty of that murder, you are going to die the same way you killed that person. Do you think it would be a deterrent for people not to kill other people?
Yes and no. It depends upon the mental stability of the person who's killed that person, who obviously they're not very stable in the first place, so that would have happened. And actually, if people get to that point, I really don't think that they care about if they live or die. Because if they cared, if they, wanted a long life free of any kind of punishment, they wouldn't have killed the person in the first place.
Okay.
So I think once they get to that point, I think they probably just wouldn't care.
All right. Mateman, do you want to comment on what I said or what Shannon said?
Yes, I think it would deter a lot of people from committing certain acts, knowing the punishment if they literally get caught. Yes, it's gonna be a very tedious task um to prove that they literally did it. But yeah, it will defer a lot of people from doing certain stuff because they know that if they steal, they're gonna lose a hand. They know they kill someone, they're gonna end up dying the same way. And a lot of murderers, Shannon, some of them they really cherish their lives, their own life. They cherish their own life. Trust me, and they don't want to die. It's because how the system is now. They know that they're gonna end up in prison for a long time, and they're just gonna there eat food, play basketball, do whatever, and live out their life till they die. You know, it's very rare and serious crimes that someone do get the death penalty or the prosecutor asks for the death penalty because sorry, my apologies.
No, and you are right. I think Petty Deb, I see you trying to come on, but I don't see you. So I don't know if you were trying to. Oh, okay, she dropped off. Okay, so do you think that it would be a deterrent that if we had that law, that we would not have young people under the age of 18 committing crimes, because they knew that law was, if you kill that person and you're found guilty, you will die the same way. And man, you said 6 months was too long, so you think they should immediately go from you were convicted and immediately go to the death chamber or wherever and be executed?
Yes, because in certain religion, as we stated before, well, Shannon, I don't think Shannon was there. In certain religion, as long as the person has credible evidence, it won't even reach court. As long as there is someone who can identify that you did that crime, you stole something, and there were more witnesses, and they check the background of the witnesses, seeing that the person isn't lying and you literally did it, then yes, you're gonna lose your hand right there, right? Like in a couple minutes to an hour, you're gonna lose a hand. You get me? So it's but depending on the crime now that we're talking about killing someone, because you know you have teenagers who drinks and drive or are met in an accident and someone ending up dying. So it, it's it's a great area right there if you understand what I'm trying to say, especially with teenagers and the drinking and driving thing and crashing and somebody else dying and stuff like that. If you understand what I'm saying, so there is very there's a gray line area right there, but for other crimes, yeah, of course, other things are act of.
Okay. All right. So my next question is, which was part of my original question, is should death row inmates be forced or required, that's probably the same word, to donate organs? Anybody?
No,
Shannon? Okay.
absolutely not. No.
And you say no, why?
That's still, your body is sacred, and I mean, unless they were willing to give up an extra organ like a kidney because you can live with one, or a piece of their liver, I don't think anybody should be forced to have an organ taken out just because they are a prisoner.
Okay, now again, I not a prisoner. You're on death row. You have been convicted. Things have been proven. You are going to die anyway. Should you, and remember, you murdered someone. Should you be required to, donate an organ? Maybe it is a kidney while you're still waiting to die, or upon your death, instead of getting a lethal injection, they kill you some other way to preserve the organs, but your organs will go to someone else. And again, Shannon, you're on death row. You're not in jail because you robbed a bank. You're on death row.
No, still no.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's still that just shows you what a cruel system that would be. I mean, yes, he made a mistake, and they're being punished by being sentenced to death. But no.
Okay, so
You're telling me killing someone is a mistake. You
and I was just about to say that you murder someone, and that's a mistake.
It's
I'm not talking about an accident, Shannon. I'm talking about you intentionally kill someone. I'm just playing both sides here. I'm just asking.
No, but no. I mean, they're already going to get punished for what they did. They're going to die. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of, it would be an act of redemption if they did it. If they can, towards working good karmic points with, you're probably going to go to hell anyway if you killed somebody, but intentionally. But I mean, what if they killed somebody intentionally and it was an act of revenge because somebody hurt one of their loved ones or something like that? It depends upon the person and what they did, I guess. But is that someone who would do that, a system that would do that, to me it just seems wrong. But if he does have viable organs that could save another life, I guess each situation would have to be assessed. Definitely. I mean,
okay. All right. And again, I'm playing both sides here. So I will let's take away the part of someone killed your loved one, and for revenge, for whatever reason, you killed them. Okay. I don't think you would get death row for that. you can, I don't think someone like that would get death row. I'm talking about someone who intentionally killed someone. You killed someone because you killed, you know, uh you're in love with this woman and you kill her husband because you think that by killing him you'll get with her. You killed your boss. I mean, you intentionally killed someone. Should you be required to give up an organ, lung, part of a liver, kidney, whatever, while you're still alive? And upon death, you have to, say that your heart or whatever else is going to go to someone else. Heart, eyes, whatever, it will go to someone else.
Of course. I would even add more to it. That person will be working, doing some labor work before they even die also. Because I don't know, this is just my mindset. I don't know if it's a very cruel mindset, but that person will be working very hard, wishing to die. Trust me. Because,
I have a question.
sure.
For you have a question for me. You have a question
Yes,
for
I have a
for me.
question for
Okay.
you. Are you
Okay.
talking about at the point when they take out the organs? Is it going to be like immediately after their death, or like they take out the organs and they still have the sentence that they got to heal? Then they is there a time period after they take out the organs?
Okay, let me put it like this. You have no more appeals. You are on death row and you are going to die. Let's say your appeals are over with and you are going to die, say within 3 months. You are going to die. But there's that, your daughter gets into an accident and she needs a lung. Can I go to you who is going to die in 3 months and say, Shannon, you are a match, whatever, this girl, she needs a lung and you have to give up one of your lungs. You can still live without a lung or a kidney, whatever. But when you die, after you die, your heart is going to go to someone else. Your eyes, your whatever is going to go to someone who needs a transplant.
Well, I think maybe at the point of death, yeah, then they can scavenger their organs, but not like prior to their death. That's just be unbelievable cruel. It's cruel,
But
yeah,
you,
that they
but you,
murdered
okay, but
somebody.
it was unbelievably cruel that you intentionally
Well,
killed me.
I know
So
that, but they're getting. Don't say the word "you" because I've never killed anybody. That's funny. Believe me, I'd like to. Boy, I wish. Believe me, if I could get away with that, there'd be several people dead right now. but, but that's not the case, and I wouldn't do something like that. But I'm saying they're already being punished for that crime. The rest would just be undue torture. And
okay.
that's what I had the problem with. Now, if at the point in time of their death that they could have a medical team right there and then take out the organs, yes, then I would be all for it. But not take out the organs and then let them sit more on death row and just kind of pick at, just like a bolter, picking at their organs. No. At the point of death, yes. Just like they do, if they had looking for a heart and somebody was dying and they were on the table already and they were about to die, and that's what they do. They take them out actually at the point of death. And then it's still, I think within 24 hours, the organs are still viable. So at the point of that inmate's death, after he or she is punished, then yes, they take whatever you freaking want. Pick them dry, but not pick an eye here, a lung here, then let them sit more in death row. That's crimes against humanity.
Okay. All right. Man, before I go back to you, I'm going to go to Crazy Lady because she's been waiting patiently. Crazy Lady, what's up? What do you want to say? You there?
Sorry, I had clothes in my arms. Yeah, I think it should be mandatory, like upon their death, harvest those organs. For the torturing thing beforehand, I don't know. Some of them probably might deserve it, like the serial killers that kept people like in their basement for years and stuff.
I mean, and Crazy Lady just brought up a good point. You have these people who have tortured people for years and years, and then they finally kill them. Someone like Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, should those? I mean, do we care? I mean, look at what these people did. So, Mate Man, I am going to go to you, and then Mimi, I will come to you. So, hey, Shy Lady, what's up? So, Mate Man, what did you want to say?
I'm just adding to what Shannon was saying. It varies depending on because the system can get in trouble for violating a corpse, seeing that the person is dead and they did not consent to the factor of when they die. But if you were doing it, or it was a mandatory thing upon the sentencing, then fine. But there is a gray area with when the person die, you have a medical team who comes in and do what they're doing and snip. That can be violating a corpse, and the family can get involved and all of that. So, as the Crazy Lady said, has to be mandatory and laws have to be passed. So, yeah, because
But I'm assuming that these laws have been passed. I am assuming that the laws have been passed that if you have been convicted of murder, you have no more appeals. You have a death date. Should you be required to give up your organs? Whether we're picking at it, a lung here, a kidney here, and you're still alive, and then at the end of when you die, we end up taking your heart, like I said. But you have been, I mean, you've been convicted because you murdered someone, you killed someone. So should we be concerned with how everything looks for what we do to you? And Mimi, if you want to jump in and add anything. And thank you for coming, Mimi. Hey.
Hey, girl. I said I was gonna catch you. I actually just went to go pick up my daughter because I was having an allergic reaction, so I'm on my way to the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But I was like, I gotta go. I gotta make sure I get to her podcast. So the question is, should we allow them to, is it mandatory for them to donate their organs if they have committed a crime? Am I correct?
If they've committed murder, they have been convicted. You have no more appeals. You have a death date. You are scheduled to die.
Okay. That's an iffy one. I don't think that that's a good question. I mean, it could go both ways. I guess you could say, yeah, because they have murdered someone else, and they're on death row, so they're not gonna need it anyways. But I do think, I believe that it should be the family's choice whether they want to donate the organs or not.
Okay, but was it the family's choice when you kill a member of my family? Did I have a choice when you kill a member? No, I mean, I'm just playing both sides. I'm asking the question. I mean, did my family have a choice? Did my family go up to you and say, well, it is okay for your son or your daughter to kill my son or daughter? I mean, I'm just asking.
But it's not the family's fault. You know what I'm saying? You looking at it as and I get what you're saying, but you're looking at it's not the family's fault. You know, everybody is hurt in a situation with, you know, the family that the person that murdered somebody else's family, and then, you know, they are suffering as well because their family member is in jail and they have a death date. So,
But your family
you
wouldn't
know,
suffer if your
you're
family
not,
member didn't kill someone.
huh?
I said your family member wouldn't suffer if I didn't kill that person, then you wouldn't suffer because I wouldn't be in jail because I never killed anyone.
Well, they will suffer because, you know, you have to deal with the backlash. You got to deal with, you know, people saying that your family member did this to my family member. You have to deal with that person dying, whether they are a murderer or not. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with the fact that you know that this person has murdered somebody that's dearest to you, murdered somebody, one, and they on death row. So you do suffer. The family do suffer. And they have to worry about, you know, other people judging them based upon your family member doing something to mine. You see what I'm saying?
No, you make a very good point. I'm going to go to Shy Lady. What do you want to say? And Mimi, I'm going to, okay, you muted yourself. Okay, Shy Lady, what do you want to say, my friend?
Hey, interesting topic. And can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting topic. I believe that if a person is convicted murderer on death row, they about to do the lethal injection thing. And I understand Mimi's point about the other family suffering, but at this point, whether their organs are donated or not, it doesn't really matter. They're not coming back. The person that they killed is not coming back. If the organs are destroyed along with the body, no one benefits from that either. So I can see the organs benefiting someone who is in need of a liver, a child or whatever, someone who's in need of a heart. If of course, if that person is in healthy condition. But to me, I don't see anything wrong with if there's a need, a person that's in a need, because I think that a person that is suffering from a liver disease or heart or some vital organ that's needed, I don't think that they probably would care that the person was on death row. They want to live. And I don't think taking the organs that are healthy with that body, it doesn't even matter. Well, who's it going to benefit if it goes to the grave or whatever? Who's it going to benefit if it goes to the grave? It's not going to benefit anyone. You can't bring back the person that you killed or persons. And I'm sure that the other family, the family of the murderer, yeah, they may have grieved for the person that is on death row, but you know, you are responsible for your actions, especially if you're an adult. You are responsible for your actions. So that's just my point.
You know, Shy Lady, you make a good point, and everyone makes a good point. But I want to go back to what Shannon said. Shannon has a problem with the fact that one of my questions was, if again you are on death row, you have no more pills, you are going to die. However, someone needs a liver or a lung. Can I come to this person who has a death date and they're still alive, and I say, you have to go and give this person part of your lung? And Shannon says that that's torture. So I'm going to go back to Shannon because I want to know, Shannon, from what everyone else has said, what do you think?
No, not until the point in time that they are executed. It is not right to, no, that is unusual and cruel punishment. even though he deserves to die, he's already been sentenced. Unless they change the laws and said, well, you're going to be sentenced to death, and we now, a part of that punishment, you are going to be picked clean if you're a match for anybody, because, you know, the society needs organs. No. If we get to a just system like that, I swear to God, I'm moving out of this country, because they're already being punished by being on death row and sentenced to death. No. At the point in time that they are sentenced, that they die, then, like they do at hospitals when they're looking for a heart and someone is on the table and dying, and there's no, you know, at the point right at their death, then they take the heart out, and then I feel like it's okay once they are dead. I do no, that is awful.
I want
Okay.
to say something.
Mimi?
I feel like, you know, I agree with her, because I think I stated in my podcast before that I feel like murdering somebody else, who are you to, you know, say, well, I'm finna kill you because you killed somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they should have that power. Now, to lock somebody up for life or whatever, but to just, you know, kill them, I already don't agree with that. So, you know, to go take their organs, and then you already injecting them, you know, so would their organs even be any good, you know, after you do the lethal injection? That's
No,
one.
I would say that you would have to come up with a different way to kill this person so you can take the organ.
You say that one more time.
You would have to come up with a different way to kill the person in order to be able to make the organs viable. So yes, we know you would not be able to put poison in them, whatever. You would still have to come up with another way. So
Yeah, just to take their organs while they alive anyways. I just don't agree with that. I just think that the family should still have some say-so in that. That's just my opinion. I feel like they should still have some say-so, and whether you know, their organs should be taken regardless of what they did.
Thank you, Mimi.
all right, Mate
All right.
Man, I know you are dying to say something. So what do you want to say? But before you go on, let me say, Misha, thank you very much for the pod bean. Go ahead, Mate Man.
All right. Let's try this scenario then. If you're convicted of killing a family member of mine or killing me, I think my family should dictate the terms of your outcome. As in, if they want to take your organs willingly or forcefully, sure. Because you took my life. Now you're in the hands of my family member, not the system anymore. Once the system finds you guilty, you're in my family member's hands to do whatever they wish. So I think that's more fair for the system, because you already put my people through heartache, pain, and stuff like that, missing me, and everybody's gonna talk about, yo, that's not humane and all of that. No, then turn them over in my family hands. Let them handle the situation.
Okay. Angie says, what if you did that and they were found innocent by some new evidence out of the blue? So, Angie, I'm assuming that these people have been convicted and they have a death date, and for whatever reason, okay, put it like this. Does it matter if they find evidence out of the blue? Because they can find evidence out of the blue, but you could already be executed. So I don't know. Crazy lady, you want to jump in, or shy lady, or May
That would
man? Go ahead, May man.
that
You want
would
to say something?
that would just be a fucked up moment for that evidence to miraculously appear. Sorry, the crazy lady. I'm just like, and it's just gonna be like it's a this moment when you knew they fucked up kind of vibe. So I don't know, Angie. I don't know where that evidence would come from, but seriously,
Okay, crazy lady.
Or his idea about handing over to the family. Uh, yeah, I'll be down with that. But like, if anything, like anybody killed me and my family, yeah, that would be cruel and unusual punishment, or would have been at one time. But I don't. Yeah, it would depend because some of those people that are sentenced to death did some like pretty horrendous stuff, and yeah, I don't. I think yeah, it's a toughie on that one. I'd have to look at the circumstances.
Okay,
But I
shy.
do think that they should have to donate their organs after death, though.
You do believe it? Okay.
Save some kind of life, for the life that life or lives that you took.
Okay. Shy lady says, if you study the Bible says if you kill someone, then your life can't be spared if you're not taking a life to defend yourself. Yes, that is true. That is what the Bible says. However, again, I did not believe in the death penalty until this one particular little girl was killed and the way she was killed. And I believe in the death penalty. But, I'm sorry. I do believe in, an eye for an eye. And, again, you've killed me. And here in California, I swear it's like you're on death row until you die. I mean, until you die of old age. I mean, people have been on death row here for like 30 years. And I'm sorry, no, you've killed someone. There's nothing that's going to come out of the blue. You have killed someone. My family member is dead. These children are gone. This whatever. They are gone. So, shy lady, what do you want to say?
I want to say that I believe in the death penalty. However, unfortunately, we have a very flawed judicial system in America. There are many people on death row who are innocent. And it's because of people who are people who have been, shall I say, prejudiced against others. Just like there was a judge, I believe it was in Alabama, who had a burglary in her home, and her account of it went public, viral, where she and her son was calling the suspected burglar the N-word over and over, and she had no type. I mean, she just was calling this man this word over and over. She's a judge, so if you have people like that over a case that could impact someone's life, whether they're going to death row or spending the rest of their lives in prison for something that they may not have committed, because this person has already gathered in her mind, because you're black or of a Latin or Hispanic race, you're guilty. And it's people that sit on these judges' seats, sit on these juries that have the same mindset. They have the same mindset. There was a young man in Oklahoma who was an honor student, never been in a crime ever, and he was convicted of a carjacking for something when he was 19, 20 years old. But he was set up by a friend. There's been many celebrities who have come to his who came to his defense because there was a lack of evidence to associate him with the crime. He said that he helped out a friend by allowing this friend to come into his home and spend a night. This was a troubled youth that he knew, and this friend left a bandana associated with the carjacking in this young man's house, and also a gun. Now, this young man he was an honor student. He had accepted an offer to go to college. This other person had a history of arrests and crimes with the local law, the local government there. And the jury also, one of the members on the jury said that one of the jurists called the man the N-word during the trial. And also the officers who arrested this man was beating him and calling him the N-word. So when you have people like that involved in the judicial process who's supposed to be fair, and they come with these biases, that's when society fails innocent people who are put on death row. And it's sad because there are a lot of people on death row who should not be there. But I'm for the death penalty if you can provide evidence, not circumstantial evidence, but concrete evidence, whatever that is, video, fingerprints, that this person did the crime, then they should be put to death for what they did. There are people out here burning people alive. Why should I care that their life is spared? A person who burns someone alive, throw acid or gasoline on someone, you deserve to die. I don't give a damn about your organs and your rights. You have no damn rights. You throw gasoline on a person and watch them die alive. Your rights don't matter. That's just me.
All righty. You've said a lot, and you've made some really good points, but I want again to be clear. When I say about an inmate donating organs, I want to be clear. The person is on death row. They have exhausted all appeals. They have been convicted. It has been proven these people killed this person. This person murdered this person. They did the deed. They have a death date. That is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that they're possibly innocent. I'm saying that we know for a fact that this person did the crime. And the crime, again, is murder, not just an inmate in jail for selling drugs or they robbed a bank, whatever. They committed murder and it was proven. I want to go to Mimi. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to drive and I'm having this reaction. I don't agree because some people get put on death row for, murder. You're gonna have to mute me after this too because I can't. But some people get put on death row not only for just burning somebody alive, just for murder. So I just don't agree with it. I just don't. I just feel like the family should have some say-so in that, and I think that's where we as society went wrong in the first place. Thinking that we're more superior than the next person. You telling me that taking somebody else's life is because they took somebody else's life? That's not up to you. That's up to God. That's not up to you to go take somebody else's life because you said he did wrong. I don't even feel like that we man-made rules. You know what I'm saying? How do we know what's right or wrong? Whether it's rape, murder, anything. We didn't. Man said that murder is wrong. They got this. They got this rule books that say if you do this, you DUIs and stuff like that, you go to jail for it. They created that. Man created that. So I just don't agree with the whole. I think they should be locked away. Certain people should get mental some type of counseling when they go into prison. That's my take on that particular part. But as far as taking their organs and all that shit, that's just too much. No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, and Mimi, hold on, let me mute you. Mimi, I will say that you have people who are looking out for you. Made Man says for you to be careful, and Crazy Lady said that you should not talk in your condition. Talking moves blood faster through your system. She says you need to be calm and not talk. So people are looking out for you, Mimi. Now, Mama Bear said something that was interesting, and I'm assuming she is saying this to Mimi. Wait, where is it? Mama Bear, I can't find it. So many people put something. Oh, you might feel different if you had a loved one who needs an organ. So would that make a difference to anyone? Sankofa says if a person, absolutely not. Okay. Sankofa says if a person takes a life, they are showing by action that they do not and cannot be around people and shouldn't, according to logic. Okay. Mate Man says because you have a feeling when you do something bad and a feeling when you do something good. Shrine Cat says if someone kills one of my family members, I'll be the first one in jail because that person will no longer be with us. And Shine Lady says if you follow the Bible, it states that a man should be put on trial for his wrongs. And again, and Misha says, Misha Oliver says, my 17-year-old son was shot in the back by a gang member 17 years ago. Misha, I'm really, really sorry to hear that. And Bahram says, it's easy to say it sitting in a Podbean room or to your friends about death penalty for pedophiles, etc. But when it comes to taking someone's life, it isn't our right and not something I want on my conscience. Okay. And Misha says he was murdered.
I want to say this last thing. Who's to say that the organs that you giving them to is a good person either? You donating organs to a person, you don't know if that person is good, so you taking organs out of, because you said this person murdered somebody, and this person might not be shit either. You can mute me now.
Mimi, you always make me laugh. You always make me laugh. Okay. All right. So first, okay, guys. First of all, I'm gonna tell you how I came up with this topic because there's always something that I see or read or hear or having a conversation with, and this is how I came up with this topic. If anyone goes back and watches last week's episode of Chicago Med, there was the storyline was. There was a person who needed a kidney, and they were going to use the kidney of their autistic son, who was over the age of 18, but the boy was freaking out, and one of the doctors felt that they shouldn't do it. In comes this guy who was in a car accident. And he was he was messed up. There was no way that he was going to live. They're saying, tell the family to drive faster to get here, whatever. And when he was going in for his second surgery to try to save his life, the man confessed to one of the doctors who was going to perform the surgery, saying that 20 years ago, a man tried to hit on me, and I was so upset that I hit him, and he fell and he hit his head, and I found out later that he died. No one ever knew that it was me, so I thought it should be a life for a life. That's where I got the title. That now, karma has come around, and it is a life for a life. So he ended up dying on the table, and when they went back, the doctor said, he did say something, before we went into surgery. And the family said, what did he say? And the doctor lied and said he said that he wants to donate his organs. Hence, the first guy gets his kidney, and it was a life for a life. So again, I come back to, when you have people like this, when you have people who have done wrong and they were never caught, Again, should they have to pay it forward in some way other than, sitting in a jail cell for the next 50 years? Should they have to pay it forward by giving up an organ? So I've said all of that. And Crucible Man, you've been waiting patiently. What do you want to say?
Well, I joined a little bit late, so if this has been covered, my apologies. But I have really, my earlier years when I was younger, I was a pretty big proponent of the death penalty, but I admit I hadn't really studied it that closely. But I guess I look at it from two sides. There's two components of it, I should say. One is straight up punishment. Somebody's done something wrong, they've taken another person's life, and they need to pay either with their liberty or with their own life. Some form of justice needs to be meted out there. The second component that I noticed was in the title of your show, and I don't know if it's been discussed for a long time. I don't hear it talked about too much anymore, and I think I know why. Is the death penalty a deterrent for future crimes? In other words, are these criminals taking note that there's X number of people on death row and they will be executed, and they keep that in the back of their mind when they're thinking about going out to commit crimes? If you're going for the punishment, that I agree with. Somebody has to pay a price for what they've done. If you think there's a deterrent component to it and you're doing it out of some, future protection to society, I think that's really a tough thing to prove. I don't. When you're dealing with a criminal mind, I don't know that there's a lot of rational thought that somebody stops and thinks, well, wait a minute, should I really kill this person because I could go to death row? I don't believe that calculation takes place. So we're really down to one outcome. If you take the deterrent piece off the table, now you're just dealing with punishment. And I'm agnostic when it comes to whether it's life in prison or an eye for an eye. Whatever form of justice society decides to take, then that's what they've done. But to confuse the deterrent element of it and to hide behind that, you just don't hear anybody talk about it anymore. And I think it's because there's never really been a correlation between the death penalty and deterring future crimes.
Okay. Now we did talk about the deterrent on Mimi's show, and I want to go back to the deterrent part because we did spend a lot of time on this organ thing. One of my questions was early on was if there was a law in America where or wherever, if there was a law that stated if you kill someone and you are convicted and you are found that, yes, you are the person who did it. You're not innocent. You are the person that did it. So guys, please understand this when you guys come on and answer. You are the person that did this crime. Would it be a deterrent if there was a law that says, okay, if you murder someone, you are going to be killed the same way you killed that person? Is that a deterrent? Anybody?
I don't believe it is. No, I don't think we have a lot. I shouldn't say most because I don't have any statistics, but I'm going to say a great majority, a great number of crimes are crimes of passion. They're done in the heat of a moment with a lot of emotion. There's not a lot of clear thinking that goes on. So in order for something to really be a deterrent, I think you need to have some component of rational thought. And when a lot of these crimes are committed, rational is nowhere to be found. So I think we're conveying qualities onto criminals that they either don't possess or they're not capable of possessing, and they're not having a moral conversation with themselves about whether they should commit this crime or not. The deterrent element of it, I don't think has anything to do with anything. I just don't think we're imposing rational thought on people who have demonstrated they're not really rational thinkers. So any kind of a deterrent, I think it sounded good for a while, and maybe we thought we were preventing future crimes, but I just don't think there's any evidence to say that's how the criminal mind works.
Okay. Crazy lady, did you want to say something? I don't know if she's still in the room. I think she may have left. Mate man. We haven't heard from you in a while. What do you want to say? Mimi, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
In some cases, I think there can be a deterrent. Deterrent from seeing the action of how someone dies and know that you're gonna die the same exact way. All right, this is where I think in some cases a deterrent can work, but for just for a period of time. All right, so when the whole pandemic thing had started, just started, here when the lockdown started, and they were displaying information about the whole virus and what it was about and how does it affect people. If you think about it, at one point there was less crime being committed. Well, where I live, there was murder rate was down. Like people were afraid of corona, so people didn't want to go outside and stuff like that. And from my understanding, I think, and I saw that the government started to use that as a deterrent point to curb crime, using the lockdowns and the whole corona thing, displayed the information and all of that, because there weren't any crime. If you get what I'm trying to say, here in Jamaica, that was one of the turning point for curbing crime. Eventually, people or the murderers or whoever they were started to say, "Yo, fuck this." Yeah, well, it's been going on for a year now, and they can't get to do what they want to do, so they eventually the crime rate just went up back because they were like, okay, they were seeing that they're not able to do what they wanted to do, and the government was using the fear factor of the whole corona and the pandemic and the lockdowns. But no, it's spiraled out of control because for some reason they weren't able to do what they wanted to do from 2019 to 2020. So in 2021, last year, was crazy, crazy, crazy shootings and stuff like that. So as I said, a deterrent can work, but just for a period of time, depending on whatever it is.
Nothing deters crime. Nothing deters going to deter crime. Anytime you know that you could be locked up for the rest of your life and you still go out and kill people, it doesn't deter it. People commit crime thinking in the back of their head that they're not going to get caught. So whether you put out, you say, we're going to hang your ass, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, they're just going to be more slick criminals. Sorry, somebody was calling, but they're just going to be slick at what they do. It's not going to deter it just because you put out certain things and say, well, yeah, we're going to start hanging you. We're going to start, the death penalty been out for a while. And you still got people going out murdering people, raping people. And then you still got people that got mental health issues that go out and commit crimes. They're fucked up in the head. They're just going to get more slick at what they do.
Can I say something?
Yes, Shannon, go ahead.
Also, what they are discovering is that the DNA from a criminal or for anybody with a transplant, I'm not saying anybody, but they are starting to become aware that when you have another DNA that's entered into your body, that genetic material actually starts going into your cells. So, and your body makes up your personality. So some of these people with these transplants, and say if it was a person, a raving maniac on death row, you implant some of his organs into somebody, their personalities, and it has been known to change into another criminal. I mean, maybe not as bad, but kind of resulting into a personality change. So if you put a murderer or a maniac or somebody it could have very negative effects on the person who is receiving the organs. So I wouldn't want any maniac murderer's organs inside of me, even if it was to save my life. That's all I got to say.
Okay, Shannon, you've made a point. I mean, I've mentioned before on the show that I used to work in cardiothoracic transplant. I was the person who would call you up and say, "Hey, get to the hospital. Whatever, we have an organ for you." And I've seen some of the records. Actually, I saw all of the records of the deceased and what their background is. And sometimes that did cross across my mind. Is if this person was this type of way, are you going to have part of that personality? I mean, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Frankie, thank you very much for the super chat. And yes, we do have a great panel today, and everyone else who is putting in comments in the chat. Thank you so much. So when we talk about a life for a life and death row, whatever, I mean, people are going to have their own views and what they think, and whether or not we should or shouldn't, but this is the world that we live in. Shy Lady says, I think people who are in life and death situations don't think about that person's moral character. Just my opinion. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go around the room and give everyone the last word. So, Mimi, I'm actually going to start with you because I know that you are in a situation and on your way to the hospital. So I'll start with you. You have any last words?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Go put some hand sanitizer on. There's too many people in here.
Okay, Mimi, do you want to pass the mic, or do you want to say something?
I'm gonna pass the mic until I'll go last.
All right. Well, I hope everything goes well. So be safe and be well. Okay, Shy Lady, I'm going to go to you. You have any last words?
It's always a great conversation to hear other people's thoughts, and I think that's what makes us all individuals. We all have different perspectives, and we can add value to some other people's lives with our wisdom, knowledge, whatever. But good subject. I like it.
Okay, thank you. And Crucible Man, last words from you, my friend.
Yeah, I've never been the victim of a violent crime, so I'm not going to speak to it personally, but I understand the emotions of people who do have lost loved ones in violent crime, and they want retribution and they want justice. I kind of look at it from a more practical standpoint. I understand the emotions involved and I understand the need for justice, but that whatever we do to that criminal, whether we put them behind bars for life or we execute them, my loved one is not coming back. So I don't get any measure of satisfaction knowing another human being is suffering. I know that probably puts me outside the majority. We want retribution, and understandably so. But again, if we take retribution and the person sits in jail for 50 years or is executed the next day, my loved one's not coming back. So I take it of a more practical. And again, easy for me to say. If the situation were reversed and I was in maybe my tune would change. So I'm going to reserve judgment on that. But I look at it from a practical standpoint. No matter what the outcome is with this perpetrator, my loved one is still deceased, and nothing is going to change that no matter what we do with that criminal.
Okay. Crazy Lady, see, are you there, or you're... I don't think she's there. Mate Man, you want to take the mic? Last words.
Crazy Lady's here. Her mic lit up. So.
Oh, did it? No, she's gone.
Yeah, as Crucible Man said, I won't cast judgment, but I would stand by the notion of life for life. If it's my family member, if someone else wants to handle it a different way, then that's up to them. Great conversation. It's nice being here. Oh, Mimi, take care of yourself. Make sure you're good.
Thank you, Mate Man, for coming. And Crazy Lady, you have any last words? And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go over you. I didn't think you were here. Crazy Lady? Hello?
You hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. I lost my mic. what Crucible said, it made a lot of sense because, because like with that guy that was responsible for my son's death, I didn't want to his life ruined or anything because it was a horrible accident, but I wanted, accountability. And I think accountability is what we want from the criminals. I'm not an angel. We all know I'm not an angel. But when I got caught and when, I took accountability, and I think that's what people need to be made to do. Step one. And that's all I have.
Hello? Are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Solid?
Shannon, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was muted. Yes, go ahead.
Last words. Well, if any of you want to make a little money, I got a doctor that, I'm just kidding. Like I said, I definitely deserve, and I have, on Crucible's last words, have been a victim. I have been a victim of one of the most worst crimes you'll ever hear of, over and over. I do not wish that woman death because I want her to suffer greatly in prison because death is too easy for some people's crimes. And I cannot wait for that day to happen. And it will, but sometimes death is just too easy. That's why they make them wait out their period on death row. So I believe in going by the letter of the law. So until it's made into law that they can strip people of their organs, I will never be for it, no matter what they've done.
Okay. All right. Shy Lady says, even people who've committed murder don't want to die when it's their time for execution. So whether the person who suffered at the hands of their demise can't be brought back, the murder should be accountable for their death. Misha says, my son was shot in the back and through his heart. The murderer hasn't changed one bit. And again, Misha, I'm so sorry to hear that. And Crazy Lady, I'm also sorry to hear about the death of your son. I that's all I can say is that I'm sorry. You guys, thank you so much for coming. Again, I told you guys how I came up with this topic. And everyone does have something to say. Everyone, has something to say, and I welcome what everyone when you join in, whether you're chatting or you take the mic. I thank you very, very much. This show does not work without you. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your afternoon because I am in the middle of the day, and I appreciate it so much. So until next time, speak your truth. Always go where the wind takes you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye. And Mimi, you take care, girl. Oh, and everyone, I want to stop the music for a moment. Mimi, Mimi has a great show on Sunday and Tuesday nights. You guys have to check her out. You have to see her, listen to her show. And Shannon has the bomb show that she is just starting. It's great music. I've listened to her first two shows. You guys have got to join Shannon's show when she does her music show and Mimi's show. So now, go where the wind takes you. You're welcome, Shannon. All right, guys. Now we can go back and groove to the music. Bateman, thank you for showing up on time. And Crucible Man, you and Shy Lady, you all were late today. Late, late. And Misha, thank you so much for coming.
That's it. We're taking your liver. You were.
Misha, thank you so much for coming. And hopefully next time, if you want, you can take the mic. And Angie and Jill, thank you very much. Let's see who I missed. And HRH Fastidious. Well, thank you for popping in. Did I miss anyone? See, Crazy Lady? I think I got everyone. And Juju was here earlier, but she had an accident last night. She hurt herself, so she popped in for a little bit, but she's not feeling too well. And Miss Shy Lady, as always. Thank you, my friend. So anybody else want to say something and take us out with the music? Anybody?
Peace and love, and don't kill them.
You and Crazy Lady are on the same page. She says love, peace, and happiness. Shy Lady's grooving. Okay, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye.